What kind of playbook would you tell your 14-year-old self to follow?
To be more authentic to yourself, because I got in this industry and was always being told by my entire team, you can't be yourself, you can't be this, you can't, lower your voice for certain things. But whenever I, came out and was just more authentic to myself, my life changed.
This is Entrepreneurs the Playbook, where I give you access each week to the world's greatest athletes and executives about their personal and professional playbook and what has made them champions on and off the field. This is the Playbook. This is Dave Meltzer, CEO of Sports One Marketing, here with Entrepreneur the Playbook, and I am here, and I'm losing my mind again. I am here with Colton Haynes.
What's up?
What's up? At the Desert Smash? I didn't know you were a tennis player.
I'm not a tennis player. I am the announcer he said the funniest insult I've ever heard in my entire life, which is, Colton Haynes, he has a great house with no furniture.
Is that true?
Funniest, well, I have a great house with great furniture, but basically saying that I
as
look
a tennis player,
but I suck. So
speaking of looks, right? You started your career. You've been a model.
Back in the day, God, when I was 14, I started. Yeah.
So you're not going to believe this, but one of my bucket list things was to be a model.
Oh yeah.
Now, I finally did it. Redken is they're a sponsor here.
Yeah.
So they have a product called Camouflage, which is like a gray away.
Yeah.
So I finally got old enough and ugly enough where I could become a L'Oreal model, and I did this whole big thing with videos how you can, because I wrote a book called Manifest Anything You Desire. Yeah. It's called Connected to Goodness. I'm like, see, if this can be a model, right? Did
that make it in the book?
Oh no, because I wrote it beforehand.
Well, you need to write a sequel.
Yeah.
You're now a model.
I am not. So hopefully when I go to these celebrity tournaments, they're going to say that I have an apartment, no furniture, or something.
I didn't understand what he was saying, and I was like, how does he know where I live?
Right, that's what I was trying to figure, but then I got it.
Oh, it's a diss. Okay, thanks. I appreciate it.
Being good looking is a diss. That's cool. Well, anyway.
I gained 30 pounds in the past 4 months, so I'm just like,
you're a stud.
Probably because of this, so yeah.
I'll be with you tonight drinking. So it's interesting because a lot of people, they want to be either actors, entertainers, athletes, and it's a really challenging lifestyle.
Oh my God, it's so challenging. Yeah.
And what's the hardest part about being? Because you've been in Teen Wolf, successful. Arrow, I think it's your new starring role.
Yeah, I was on that show for a couple of years, and I just now went back. But I think it was so interesting for me, kind of starting, because I guess my first big show was Teen Wolf, and it's weird because I kind of never thought, I always wanted to act because I did Broadway when I was a kid, and then I went through puberty at like 11, lost my voice, and then moved back to Kansas. And then I started Teen Wolf, and it was reignited this amazing kind of love that I have for acting. But I still I am an actor, but I don't consider myself an actor because realistically I'm just saying lines in front of a camera. And
You're being yourself?
Yeah, I'm just being myself. But I just have so much fun doing it, and as long as I still love it, I'm going to keep doing it. But I've taken a bunch of time off here and there and figured out other things to do, and so right now I'm doing that, but I don't know what else. I don't know, maybe I could come work for you guys.
Yeah, get my card. We absolutely, a guy who can act can sell, so a natural like yourself. I grew up with a guy named Faison Love. He's the big African-American guy in Elf. He plays the security guard. So Faison and I, so I always tease him because he gets like $1 million a picture now. And I'm like, Faison, you big scam artist. I go, everyone thinks you're this great actor. I've known you since the 7th grade.
Yeah.
You're just being yourself.
You just have to really fake people into hiring you.
Nice.
And then just keep hiring you. That's what I did. I literally just, I made friends with people who eventually, kind of came up with me and became producers, and now, thank God I don't have to. If I had to audition, I would never get a role. That's why every time I audition for things, I'm like, nope, sorry, I have to leave.
Worth it.
Yeah,
nice.
Pass out. So.
Well, you bring up a good point because I have a saying: be kind to your future self. And when people tell me that, these guys were brought up, and that's my career too, right? I had all these people I treated nicely, and now all of a sudden I have my own brand and my own shows, and for years I was just nice to all those people.
And you have to do that. It's funny because everyone's like, I was telling you before we started, everyone's like, how come you haven't changed at all? How come you don't? I'm like, why am I going to change? I don't think I've worked with enough assholes. I don't want to become them, and I just want to still have fun. And if you're an asshole, then you're kind of a miserable person.
Well, so you gave me a recommendation for my second book. My next book that's coming out is called "Don't Do Business with Dicks."
That is
so
amazing.
I think that applies right to what you're talking about.
I'm actually writing a book called Hypocrite Therapy.
Oh, really?
Because I had this thing. I don't know. I would always be telling people to not do things, and I'd be like, wait, I'm a fucking hypocrite. I do the same thing I'm telling you not to do. So, yeah, so I'm in the process of doing that right now.
I love that.
Yeah.
I sign all of my emails unconditional. And my business partner is Warren Moon. I know you're not a football guy, but he's a famous Hall of Fame quarterback. Played in Kansas City for a little while.
Yeah.
But he asked me, he goes, Dave, why'd you start, putting unconditionally at every signature line? I said, that's because I couldn't put hypocritically.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I really wanted to put.
Yeah.
And it's true, though. Now, you're, a person who illuminates their flaws. We were talking about humanness, and you got to live life to the truth. So I know, like everyone else, you had anxiety in your life.
I don't think it goes away. It's
Really?
funny, it's something people are like, I left a couple shows that I was doing because I couldn't even, I don't know, it's funny because I talked really publicly about this, maybe a year ago, and I was just like, I couldn't go to work because I would puke, I would faint, and I'd be like, what? I couldn't even, I'd black out in the middle of, lines and things like that. And I tried, I've tried every medication, I've tried that, and I'm a massive fan of being on medication just because I think it really is a problem, a chemical imbalance in people's minds and their bodies. But yeah, I just had to talk about it because people kept saying, you're being dramatic, you're being this, you're being that. I'm like,
Overactor,
you think I want to, I'm not sweating or lying on the ground shaking because I'm being dramatic. So
right, but it did manifest itself in a physical way, though. It did beyond passing out and puking.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you have an ulcer or something?
I still have an ulcer still, yeah.
Wow.
And it's just because I think especially in the business, obviously with what you do. I'm not saying you have an ulcer.
Yeah,
but,
no, my family,
ulcers
ulcers run in my family. My dad, my grandfather, even my little brother had childhood ulcers.
Yeah.
So it was something, when I read about it, I'm like, damn, because for whatever reason, either I have like a cast iron stomach, or later on in life I learned to meditate, which helped me.
Yeah, everyone keeps
and I
trying to tell me to do
self-medicated,
that.
by the way, for a good 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
so that may have helped as well.
Now I found
that
the
tequila
good one.
did it.
I don't think that
It's lemonade.
I think it's literally lemonade. I'm like, this isn't working, and I have to play with Serena in a minute.
Oh no.
Or in an hour, so she wouldn't care, but.
It'll help.
And this fly is attacking me. It's gone all over my body.
It's in love. It's a big fan.
You smell like shit.
It's the Teen Wolf days.
It's the Teen Wolf days. But I lost my complete train of thought. Oh, anxiety.
Anxiety. We were talking about medication, but I said, it manifested itself as in ulcers, and so.
Yeah, and it's just this weird thing that you really can't. And my doctor makes fun of me. He's like, "Why don't you just try not stressing out all the time?" I'm like,
nice.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, I have to travel all the time and always try to, not anymore. I got married and I just gained 30 pounds, and I'm just like, I don't care if I don't have cheekbones anymore. Everyone can fuck off.
I love models. I just gained 30 pounds and the guy looks completely ripped to me. So when I gained 30 pounds, I look like John Lovitz, which could be a benefit. So
like John Lovitz.
Let's go back to Playbook. It's a highly competitive field, and you started at a young age. I've been in and out of it for a young age. Tell me, if you were going to give advice to your 14-year-old self, looking back on this great career of yours, ups and downs, but what kind of playbook would you tell your 14-year-old self to follow?
Oh gosh, I would definitely say, stretch.
Me too.
Eat. Don't eat how I eat now. Eat healthy. Do not eat Taco Bell, even though it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to the world.
Shameless plug for Taco Bell. I loved it.
I got into a Twitter fight with Taco Bell because they were like, because I said I was talking shit about them, and I was like, do not tweet me, leave me alone. And they were like, we'll send you a thing, and I'm like, I don't want any more. I've gained too much weight. But so I think my 14-year-old self, also be more authentic to yourself, because I got in this industry and was always being told by my entire team, you can't be yourself, you can't be this, you can't, lower your voice for certain things. We're going to give you 1 million different girlfriends, and you're going to date them. But whenever I, came out and was just more authentic to myself, my life changed. It was this thing where, I wasn't defined by I had no boundaries. And literally right after it happened, I got 2 big movie offers. I got American Horror Story with Ryan Murphy.
Find your frequency, right?
And it was just this amazing thing where I'm not any different. I still act exactly the same. I just, am actually myself. And, I had a very supportive family. Well, not at the beginning. Not at all at the beginning. But I moved in with a couple people in my family and just moved different high schools, and everything was great. So once I moved out of Kansas, I moved to Florida, then to Texas, and I just got to be myself. And then I moved to Hollywood, and I didn't get to be myself for like 10 years. So
right.
Yeah, but now it's everything. The rules are changing, and people are just.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so I would definitely tell my 14-year-old self just to be yourself and not really honestly, if people have issues with the way you're living your life, it's not their business. So, yeah.
And it's so hard. I have 4 kids, so I have an 18-year-old daughter who, is a freshman, and we had that conversation because she reminds me of myself when I was younger, and I know better than to use that old, well, when I was your age, and I'm trying to empower her to understand, like, not to care what people think. Like, I believe you should listen to what people say to you because of awareness, right? I want to hear all the positive and all the negative because I like the feedback.
Yeah, because
but
you can find a middle ground.
In the end, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I find that the most successful people in every single field, and we're lucky, we get CEOs, we get actors, we get great athletes, but they all have certain things in common. I'm going to give you some of these words and you tell me if it's something you live by. 1, persistence.
Oh gosh, that's one of the biggest things, of course. Yeah, persistence. Oh God, I had to try a million times before I got one yes, and it was, I think it was an extra in Transformers. So it was just trying a million times to be an extra. That's how hard I worked, and then eventually the yeses kept coming.
Okay, how about this word, consistent?
Consistent is one I would like to tell myself to be more of. I don't know. I back away on a lot of things whenever I start to get a little bit down on myself. So I wish I could be a little more consistent and just kind of keep looking forward. But then I kind of screw myself over a little bit. But yeah.
All right, your philosophy on pursuing your potential.
I need to work a lot harder to pursue my potential because I don't know. I think I just have this thing where I always try to find the easy way out, which is a horrible way.
Do you think that's because I find a lot of people that have young success, right? It's been easy for you, so you consistently kind of go to the path of least resistance.
That's exactly what I do, and it's one of my main flaws of the many. And it's funny, my manager's actually here. I was just playing tennis with him. I wasn't playing with him because he's so good. They're trying to constantly, help me see the potential in myself. But when I have all these other things that I've been doing for a while and they're just coming back at me, being like, hey, come back to this show, come back to this, it's hard to say no. So I need to be a lot more consistent. So
how old are you right now?
I'm 29.
29, that's it. So you're hitting that age. You and I, when I hit 29, I had the same thing because I could not gain. I played football in college and I couldn't gain weight. So my eating habits were horrendous, right? They'd have me eat those big burritos.
Possibly wish for.
Yeah, it was awesome until you start realizing, because I had a father that had the same thing. He said, well, wait till you're 30. And I'm like, in my mind, first of all, I worked out all the time, and I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going to stop working out. My metabolism is going to slow down. Now I'm 50. I look at food. I love McDonald's, so that's I
love McDonald's too.
And I look at it. I love Warren Buffett because he can eat McDonald's and live forever.
I don't get it.
And he doesn't seem that fat either. But I ate so much when I was little. And
people always say that. They're like, oh, wait till you're 30. Well, I waited till I was 28, and then it was like, I can't take my shirt off anymore. I'm like, this is really awkward. And then it just gets worse, and I blame it on everything. My doctor, it's like a stand-up routine when I go into it because he's like, "What's your thing now?" He's like, "What's your excuse now?" And I make up all this crazy shit. But
And now what are you gonna work on next? Like, you have a goal? Do you have a project you want to pursue?
So I'm gonna go back. I'm trying to work on the book. And then on top of that, I'll go back for Horror Story. This will be my second season doing that, and then I'll go back to Arrow. So
nice.
I'm going back to some stuff that I've done, in the past. So much
it
fun.
Pays,
love it.
Right?
Yeah, you got to go with, you got a house and a, potential family and all this stuff. You got to figure everything out. So
yeah, especially at 29.
Yeah, but it's a super safe space and things I love and people I love, and so that's pretty much it. And then trying to improve my tennis game.
How often do you play?
I used to play all the time, but I'm kind of just. It's so funny because everyone thinks that I show up and they think I'm good because I have like the outfits and I have I steal all of Serena's rackets and my stuff, and then I just tank. So yeah.
But you played tennis when you were young.
I played tennis up until I was a senior. So in high school I was good, but then I just stopped playing. So yeah.
It's interesting because I get a lot of athletes, and everybody says, "Oh, in high school I was good." And every level, and this is, I want your opinion in entertainment, And I think it's harder if you're really good looking. Not to embarrass you, like you might think that you're fat now, but I love the line from David Letterman when Brad Pitt was on, and he's like, "Oh, you're so good looking, of course." And he looked at him and he looked at me and he goes, "Do you know how many good looking guys there are in the world?" He goes, "I'm a great actor. I mean, you get your jobs, you know, whether it's natural, or trained, it doesn't matter. I've watched, teenage daughters, so I've watched your stuff, and you're a good actor, and it probably helps when you're a good actor and good looking. But then there's good actors that aren't good looking that fit certain roles as well.
It's definitely, I mean, there's been all these actors who say, "Oh, it's so hard because when you're good looking, you don't get roles." But really, like,
I have no problem getting roles.
But it's funny, but like, no, I'm not. I don't know. In the past, it's hard for people to relate to someone who looks like Brad Pitt.
Right.
So it's kind of, I mean, the stuff I've been doing, if I want to do teenage television and things like that for a while, I mean, I guess it would work in your favor, but it's hard for people to take you seriously because they hear, "Oh, you're a model." They don't hear, like, I got a 32 on my ACT. So,
which is really good, by the way.
So I'm like, but yeah, it's.
That's like Kobe Bryant, had a 1490 on his SAT.
Oh yeah. Kobe won a freaking Oscar.
Yeah, then people are pissed off.
I was watching and I was like, what the heck? Yeah, but I think, obviously, looks go hand in hand with this industry. I think people pay way too much attention to it, but if you can at least not take yourself too seriously and, not buy into all the hype or whatever. I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, I'm sure it's helped me get roles, but I really...
What's your favorite part about acting?
Besides craft service, my favorite part about acting is, what is my favorite part about acting? I think it's just meeting the people, because it's really cool, because every project I've worked with, I've become best friends with at least 2 or 3, and it was so fun for me this year. I got married last year, and just to look out and see 3 people from that show, 5 people from that show, and you really you gain families over the
But that's how you built your career. You said you made so cool. Count your future self. All these people you met, they I say elevate others to elevate yourself.
Yeah, it's so true. And even if I got a role because I said I said something stupid in an award show, and someone literally was like, that was funny," and then I got a call like a week later saying, "Do you want to do this movie?" And I was like, "What?" And I'm like, idolize this person, so I was like, "Yeah, of course." So
that's
really,
awesome.
it's just trying to be yourself and not take yourself too seriously.
That's all about me. Last question.
Yeah.
What legacy? I know you're only 29 years old. What legacy do you want to leave?
What legacy do I want to leave? These are great questions. I'm like,
it's not my first rodeo.
I know, obviously it's not. Gosh. The legacy I want to leave? Oh God, that's such a great question.
Take your time.
I don't know. I want people to know that I've always been caring and always been nice and always tried to really treat others how they want to be treated, and also just to be outspoken and don't be afraid to have fun and I don't know, cuss and
nice cuss.
I don't know.
The legacy of cussing.
It was just I don't know, something like that.
Well, I have to tell you, I had Dennis Rodman on here and he swore a lot, but you definitely, I think kindness, just your ability to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, I'm way too
and you're freak, which is awesome. And I think you'll create a great legacy. And I hope that you don't quit on the acting side. And I do. Meditation may be my only advice to you.
Everyone says that, and I try. And it makes me angry.
Oh
so
yeah. First person I met, meditation makes
mindfulness, and I'm like, I have the app.
You have a headspace or something?
I have headspace. And it's am I supposed to just sit here? I need to go I need to learn.
Just so you know, I was the same way until I was 38 years old, and somehow it just took, and over the last decade especially, because I was on my way to Ulcerville for sure, and Anxietyville, and blame, shame, and justification. But hopefully, if you keep it available as you get older, and don't quit on the Taco Bell or McDonald's, because I think there's a energy and a happiness that comes from those great foods.
But it doesn't
just
go
in
away.
moderation.
It just stays inside.
In moderation.
It's like when you swallow gum. It doesn't go away for 7 years. And it's
Right.
like every time I have Taco
That's a
Bell.
Taco. You're gonna get all these tweets now from Taco Bell.
No, because we're in a fight. With Taco Bell, if you come after me again, it better be for a really good amount of money.
Yeah. Well, I'm an agent, so call me and we'll work a Taco Bell deal or a McDonald's
I
deal.
feel like Josh Duhamel's almost done with his deal with Taco Bell.
Right.
So I'm free.
There you go.
I'll like you again if you give me a bunch of money.
Dave Meltzer with Colton here on Entrepreneur, the Playbook.